welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yeah.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about coming home from a blood rave, taking a shower, then watching the movies you picked out by hand from Blockbuster. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte, and joining me as always, two dudes who are always trying to ice skate uphill, Sean Pryor and AJ Vance. How the heck are you?
Can't do it. Can't do it.
I think you actually can. That's the weird thing.
You can. It's
well,
just hard.
It's just trying is the stupidest part about it.
Well, and how do you create ice that actually goes uphill? You know, because like the ice, ice is water that needs to melt. So usually the water needs to stop moving to freeze.
It happens over time. It takes time.
So how did you even create the ice that I'm going to skate uphill on?
Technically, rivers are always flowing downhill, Mike.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay.
Got the big brain today.
That's awesome, man.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I mean, nothing.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss the first movie of a three-part film series, a film with a body count of 88 that taught us the importance of sunscreen if you're a vampire. One of the movies in the Trenchcoat Trinity. We are, of course, talking about 1998's Blade.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Well, thanks for being here. This was actually a movie that was voted on by our amazing Patreon members. If you want to be a part of hearing bonus conversations, you want to vote on upcoming movies, you join it, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Blade received 33% of the vote, followed by A Knight's Tale, 22%, Weird Science, 20%, Casper, 10%, Captain Ron, 8%, and 3,000 Miles to Graceland with 7%.
Big old 7. Lucky number 7.
There was no theme on this. What we did is we each got to pick 2, and we were like, hey, you know, like, see if you can guess who picked what movies, and I think most people figured it out. But I did want to go to figure out who had the highest percentage of their movies chosen. Sean, 43% of the people thought that Sean's 2 movies were the ones we should watch.
Wow.
AJ, 29%, Mike, 28%. Mine were the worst. I had Captain Ron and Weird Science. Okay. Captain Ron is a gem. I don't know what you guys were thinking. What is the matter with you guys?
Kurt Russell, dude. Like
that's what I'm saying.
You can't go wrong.
Oh, well, I really thought Kurt Russell, 3,000 Miles to Graceland is something that people want to talk about.
No, what is
They're
that?
like, that's not what we want, AJ.
We actually want nothing to do with that.
That's accurate. Yeah, that's what they said.
And we want everything to do with
Blade.
With trench coats.
With trench coats.
And blood and actually Casper.
Yeah.
Would love to do Casper.
Well, yeah.
Well, if you are new to the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Blade scene by scene with a modern eye.
That's
but we
me.
believe firmly that you have to look at these movies first with a nostalgic eye. You need to talk about it in order to then strip it fully away to give it the proper modern day treatment it needs. So we're going to start with Sean. Sean, first thoughts on this movie when you saw it as a kid. What was your nostalgic rating?
This movie came out in 98. I saw this on home video at first. And my friend Jordan Van Houten and I would watch this in his basement while we hung out and were friends and had our trench coats and played guns and hunted vampires in our imaginations. This movie was literally everything to me. It is part of the Trenchcoat Trinity. I was 2 yards from my house coming here and noticed that I forgot my trench coat for the Trenchcoat Trinity.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
I am not happy with myself.
Look at AJ compared to you.
He's got my sunglasses on. He didn't complete the whole thing.
I mean, come on. I worked for it, though.
I don't know.
I had to come in. I had to steal them from you to complete the ensemble. I feel proud of it.
Stealing is technically not working for
My
it.
jacket looks like the one he wears under his armor.
Yep, just throwing it out there.
I'm just saying.
Whatever.
Can I ask you a quick question, Sean? Did you invent Trenchcoat Trinity?
AJ came up with the term.
No way. Okay, because I've heard it so many times on this show that I'm like, put it in my notes. I'm like, well, let's look up the history of the Trenchcoat Trinity. And I was like, and guess what pops up when you type in Trenchcoat Trinity?
100% every time.
Sean Pryor.
No, what pops up when you type in Trenchcoat Trinity is Trinity from the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
And her costume.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Trinity's
Okay.
costume.
Something way
from the-
more fun. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing that has become part of just our conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got
I
to be
love
a
that.
shirt. I want it to be a shirt so bad. But this being the Trenchcoat Trinity,
What are the three films?
To remind everyone, it's Blade, it's The Matrix, and it's The Crow. We haven't gotten the whole trifecta yet. The Crow will be coming. But this movie, for now, was definitely 100% a 10 for me.
Love it.
Back in the day. Loved it so much. Watch it all the goddamn time.
Age, what about you, bro?
You know what? Oh yeah. I just feel like I watched this and I liked it. I was okay with it, but it was one of the movies that like I kind of I had to go to the bathroom at this point. You know, that kind of thing. It's like I don't really want to see all the blood. I'm not a mud kid. I'm not one of those kids.
Not a
just
blood
like,
kid.
I'm not a blood kid either. And just wasn't into either of them. And like the sticky mess, even I can literally tell you, even as a kid watching it, I wasn't thinking about the movie. I was thinking about the actors having to get fake blood on them, and that's what actually grossed me out. I was like, I don't think I could be an actor. That's what I thought as a kid. And so other than that, though, I thought it was fun because it was like martial arts. It was dark. It was mysterious. I thought Whistler was like the coolest freaking dude ever. And yeah, I thought it was a fun movie, but I wasn't quite infatuated with it like I think a lot of people maybe were at the time. So I'm going to give this a 5.8.
5.8 for age. Interesting note of me to the audience out there. We haven't done many vampire flicks, really.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, probably about it.
Yeah.
Vampires are not my thing. I had a moment in 1998. I went over to my friend Lindsay's house. She had a bunch of people over to watch some movies.
Nice.
And she's
All
like, we got
right.
this new movie called Out of Sight with George Clooney. And I was like, cool, I know nothing about it. This is awesome. I really like this. What the fuck? It's a vampire movie?
Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, sorry, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There it is.
No, is it Out of Sight, right?
It's From Dusk Till Dawn is an actual vampire movie.
I think Out of Sight is a vampire movie, too. Hold on. I
don't know.
No. It's got to be.
Out of sight.
Whatever. Who
I don't
cares?
think it is.
Whatever. Then it's From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't even care. But I think...
Was Quentin Tarantino in it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's Dust Till Dawn.
Well, fine, whatever. Again, don't like vampire movies, so I stripped it from my memory. But I don't like them, and I have never seen Blade before.
Oh, man.
This is my first time. I've never wanted to see it until
What
we
is
could do it for something really... What the hell was that?
I had no idea what just happened. I'm so sorry.
Did anybody hear that?
That was my computer.
Fucking, he's about to start a fucking blood rave over there.
Apparently I am. So
Oh,
I clicked on something to look for the Out of Sight movie, and it was a big old ad that popped up. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I'm going to be an NA on that, but we do have executive producer Josh Miller on the show with us today. He said, so remember last time I made some claim that I've seen a wildly high percentage of movies you've covered in theaters. Well, guess what? This is that outlier.
Hell yeah.
But I have a story as to why. It was fall 1998. A new girl I had just started dating, and I decided to go to a movie. It was between this and The Waterboy. Clearly, The Waterboy won, and I remember seeing only parts of The Waterboy. Wink, wink. I don't have any specific memory of seeing Blade in theaters, so it had to be a rental from ye old Hollywood Video. And while I'm pretty confident I liked it, I also have no real memory of my first watch. I've seen it numerous times since then and saw all the sequels in theaters. The entire franchise has always been good, never great. It was made for dudes my age, early 20s, in college, martial arts, vampires, a bitchin' charger, Steven Dorff, and Donald Logue. Is that how you say it? Donald Logue. if you haven't seen the Tao of Steve, check it out. He's absolutely right. Logue is great in it.
Oh.
That's it. That's the best I can give you for a nostalgic review. I could talk about all the stuff I've learned over the years, but that will have to wait about 80 minutes, both in real time and podcast episode time. My nostalgic score. Let's throw a dart on the wall, say 7.5. So as a group, we are a 7.77, which is not too bad on the old nostalgic meter. 7.77 is going to take you all alone to the 39th spot. We really do think the T2 and Airborne are better movies as kids, but we think this is better than Mrs. Doubtfire and Starship Troopers. Nostalgically.
Better than Starship Troopers.
Nostalgically.
Okay.
Yeah, that one scared me more than this did, for sure.
All right.
And so we are going to forget all about nostalgia from here on out. Modern day goggles only. We got to go to Sean. We got to learn about what the critics, fans, everybody thought about this movie. That's not what you do. You're doing the important details of the movie. What do you got, bro?
Okay. Produced by Wesley Snipes, Peter Frankfurt, Robert Engelman, and Stan Lee. Written by David S. Goyer. He wrote Demonic Tales. He did Blade 2, Blade Trinity, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and he also did story elements for the Nolan trilogy as well. Edited by Paul Rubel, music by Mark Isham. He did the music for The Hitcher, Point Break, Running Scared, and Mike, your picks for your Halloween watching, The Mist and The Crazies.
Love it.
Ooh.
Cinematography by Theo Van de Sande. He did Miracle Mile, Body Parts, Wayne's World, Volcano, Cruel Intentions, and Bad Santa 2. Directed by Stephen Norrington, he did Death Machine, The Last Minute, and The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is a kind of underrated movie. Cast: Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff, Chris Christopherson, Boucher, right? Donald Logue, Arlie Jover, Tracy Lords, Tim Guiney, Eric Edwards, Mike Scholze, and Udo Kier.
I got to see who that is.
It would go right along with like how many times your name has been mispronounced.
Of course.
In important times.
Starring Mike Schlute.
He's good.
It's a good one. Blade first started being developed in 1992 with director Ernest Dickerson attached to it and LL Cool J wanting to play the titular role. Those two parties eventually left the project as the film was now being set up at New Line with David Fincher in mind for director and David S. Goyer penning the script. David Fincher was not only going to direct Blade, but he even helped write some of it with Goyer. Fincher eventually left the project, leaving Goyer to deal with the studio alone. New Line wanted the film to be more of a spoof and suggested to Goyer that they wanted to explore Blade being played by a white actor instead.
Hey, time out. We love everything about this, man.
This is great.
This is going to be something special. Really, no notes. Really.
Well, we see that the character in the comics is of the African American descent.
Oh, but picture this.
Yes.
He's white.
How about that?
Like vampire pale kind of like. So you want to paint Wesley Snipes white?
No. I don't even care about Wesley Snipes right now. I'm talking about like a Tom Cruise.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Ooh, Pauly Shore.
Wow.
Actually, I think he's in the next room right now. We could just pop him into this meeting.
Just sign right here.
Pauly Shore as Blade.
Did you call Pauly Shore before having this meeting?
No.
We were pretty confident you'd agree that the lead actor should be white. Yeah, we were pretty confident on that.
We can't do this. We cannot do this.
Just like AJ, Goyer stuck to his guns and the original concept of the comic, wanting this to be a serious film and the vampires to be more of a villain and menacing, unlike recent films that had come out at the time, like Interview with a Vampire. Stephen Norrington had made a short film that had an emphasis on action, which New Line had seen and liked, so he got the job as director. New Line had Lawrence Fishburne and Denzel Washington in mind for the part after Goyer said, hey, it's got to be a black person like it is in the comics, you idiots.
Makes sense.
He had them in mind for Blade, but David Goyer knew it had to be Wesley Snipes in the role. Snipes was just coming out of development hell with another Marvel project, a little movie called Black Panther. After Snipes read the script for Blade, he loved it and invested all of his time and energy into the project, going so far as getting his own production company involved called Amun-Ra Films. Principal photography began on February 5th, 1997, and went relatively well, filming mostly in and around LA and Death Valley, with sets being built in Canoga Park. The film originally had a different ending with a lot more computer effects and other story elements taken out, but we will get to that in a little while. Blade was released on August 21st, 1998, and on a budget of $45 million, the film made $131.2 at the box office, spawned 2 sequels, and had a reboot in development by Marvel that had Mahershala Ali in the lead role as Blade, but that has been pulled from the list of their 2025 releases, seemingly but hopefully not effectively being canceled. I hope that happens. I hope it's going to be good.
Thank you, Sean. Let's go to AJ this time. We're going to check out the critics and fans, see what they got to say, ratings, reviews, all that fun stuff. What do we got to do?
There's worse things out there tonight than vampires.
Like what?
The tomato meter!
Gross.
Nice.
We did it.
58%.
Whoa, what?
The critics believe that this movie is better than Top Gun, but not as good as Twister. That's what they're saying.
That should be the litmus test of all movies.
Considering they wanted a blood tornado, I suppose that's where it should fall. At the end of this movie, 78% and the esteemed popcorn meter.
You want butter with that? Of course I do.
Butter with that? Salt's over there. What other kind of shitty things happen to you? Like little annoyances happen at a movie theater. You just need to keep adding that to the popcorn meter.
Yes.
That was 78%. This is a 7.1 on IMDb.
Of all the movies we've done, that is tied in the 100th spot with The Mummy, Tommy Boy, Spaceballs, Little Shop of Horrors, and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Fantastic.
All 7.1s. Those are movies.
Those are movies.
Those are movies. Roger Ebert considered it a movie at 75. That's a 7.5 out of 10. Chicago Sun-Times. Wesley Snipes understands the material from the inside out and makes an effective Blade because he knows that the key ingredient in any interesting superhero is not omnipotence, but vulnerability. Charles Taylor at Salon, our trusted guide to movies.
Great hair in this movie.
Really good hair.
Yeah. The combination of tattoos and hair was a big plus
Heck
for
yeah,
them.
dude.
Yeah, Blade in no way resembles a good movie. But its combination of music video bombast, goth rock sensibility, high-tech industrial production design, cold-blooded glossy magazine visuals, high-fashion club culture, horror movies, blaxploitation movies, Hong Kong movies, and comic book nihilism make it diverting trash.
Huh.
Straight from Salon.
Okay. And like in all their reviews, they say nothing about hair.
They really don't.
What the fuck is
what are
going
they
on
even
over
commenting on? Well, Walter Adiego gave it a 38 out of 100. San Francisco Examiner, rather than the Chronicle. One examines, one chronicles.
Yes.
If only it wasn't such bloody nonsense. That's all he said. There's also a 38. Chicago Tribune. Michael Wilmington said, often ridiculous, mostly poorly written, and surprisingly poorly acted too. No matter how many flashy scenes the filmmakers shoot, the bad lines just keep dripping down. Well, thanks a lot, critics. We've got some of the viewer reviews here. 1 out of 10. It stinks, said Zen. XEN, August 24th in 1988, so pretty recent after. I was so hoping it would be good. I was very disappointed, frowny face. It was really dumb. With a cap-tail D, dumb.
Cat-tail D?
Cap-tail D. Capital D, dumb.
Cap tail?
It's spelled cap-tail.
Okay.
How do you... You can't say that. You can't do that. You can't misspell for dumb. That's bad, guys. Bad form. 1 out of 10. Vampires? Said McGrello. Those are vampires? I didn't see any vampires. When did they start putting tattoos on the back of their necks so they know what kind of vampires they are? Well, for you comic lovers, I guess I'll spare it. But for you horror and vampire lovers, this is a sorry excuse for a vampire movie. It was horrible. That's what was horrible about it.
All right.
The neck tattoos. Guys, somebody liked this out there, right? We have to assume 10 out of 10. Super SBF 2 said, "Move over, Buffy." Gave it a 10 out of 10. This movie was just awesome. It has to be the coolest and awesomest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, man. That's my guy.
Wesley Snipes is the special effect in the movie with his martial arts move.
Fuck yeah.
The soundtrack is also awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's just... Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. 10 out of 10. Best to come out of the comic books. Best to come right out of the comic books. Usually any horror action film coming from a comic books would only end up as a predictable and boring flop. Unless, of course, it has a name director, and a vast majority of the people know who the superhero is. However, Blade is an exception. The fighting sequences are so riveting and crisp, and for once they involve the characters more. Much of the movie would involve the emotions of the character, rather than senseless violence at every minute. 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I didn't understand the last part of that one. Thought I would ask you guys. A worse movie would involve more emotions, is what they said, I believe. And a better, thank God it's just more senseless nonsense. That's what I took from that.
Hey, man.
I think perhaps you're just missing the point where it's maybe just a good balance for you.
Okay.
Maybe that's what you liked about it.
It's a 10 out of 10 for them regardless.
It doesn't even matter, really.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
could have just said, hey, here's what I think about this movie, 10 out of 10.
10 out of
could
10.
have moved on.
You're right.
Could have.
Note taken for future episodes.
No, there's a difference. People actually want to hear what we have to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy said, people probably want to hear this. And nobody did.
Well, I'll tell you who we really want to hear from, and that's our Discord exclusive channel,
dude.
the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers exclusive Discord. Sign up at Patreon, guys. Join in on the conversations. Get in on it right here on the show.
Get your name on an episode.
You know it. Right here in the mix, Blade, the exclusive Discord thread. Nick Mad said, pure entertainment. Exhibit 1. In the opening 10 minutes, our hero Blade enters a techno nightclub and is attacked by a sexy female vampire covered in blood, proclaiming, "I'm going to rip your fucking head off." Blade
What more do you need? What more do you need?
Are you not entertained?
Blade, or the Daywalker as he's known in some sewing circles, proceeds to roundhouse kick her in the face before uppercutting her to death with a silver shotgun slug to the dome.
Didn't know I needed that, but yeah.
It's 90s stylized action violence at its peak, only surpassed by the likes of The Matrix. Grab the popcorn and enjoy. Nostalgic rating is a 7. Jarrett's in here too. Jarrett, lay off. As much as I wanted Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julian Dumore. It's the show's second appearance of Wesley Snipes.
Hell yeah.
I am happy it turned out to be Blade. Blade was on a loop growing up. Blood raves, creepy grown back arms, and the Daywalker Dustin's vamps. Hell yeah. And I think that's it. Yeah. He had a nostalgic 9.5. Want to make sure we get that in there. So there it is.
Sick dog.
Well, boys, it's time to dissect Blade with a modern eye. We're entering a world where vampires are at the top of the food chain. So here are some very important things to know for you guys and for our audience. Vampire Anatomy 101. Crosses in holy water don't do dick.
They don't do dick.
So forget what you've seen in movies. You use a wooden stake, silver, or sunlight to kill them. You know how to use one of these? Yeah. Safety's off, rounds already chambered, silver hollow point bullets filled with garlic. You aim for the head or the heart. Anything else, it's your ass. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, so scene 1. In 1967, a pregnant woman is rushed into a hospital after being attacked. She dies, but her child lives. 3 decades later, a seductive woman leads a young man to a rave club. Blood is sprayed out from the sprinklers above, and most of the people reveal themselves as vampires. Vampire hunter Blade arrives and kills a number of the vampires in the club, leaving Deacon Frost's right-hand man Quinn alive and horribly burned as the police arrive on the scene.
Man, right off the bat, the like filmmaking of this movie, the colors and everything, so like muted and blue to me, and I don't know, I just like the look of it a lot. And as soon as like the images of her in the gurney and like doing this at the camera came up, I'm like, oh, it's all coming back. I haven't watched this in like, I don't know, maybe
decade,
since like a week ago or so. And like I don't know, it just all kind of made me feel like very comfortable because of, you know, I snuggled up in a trench coat for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, I like to think that you have it's like a Snuggie.
Yeah.
But it's just a trench coat. It's like an extra large trench coat.
Huge trench coat.
It's like not even like a comfortable material.
I cut the hood off. Like, but trench coats don't have hoods.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
You're right about some of that, like the colors, and even just normally stuff that I'd be like, yeah, we get like dumb stylistic choices. I really enjoyed in this. Like after she dies and we go to now. By the way,
we did it again.
Now. We did it again. We're now, which is not really now because it's a really long time ago. But even the fast forward edits of the city, where essentially shadows and darkness are washing over the city.
Yeah.
That's 2 on the head for me. But on this, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty good. I like the symbology there.
Symbology.
Symbology.
What's the symbology there?
I'm glad you're into it right off the bat, because I am. I'd never noticed this before, but the doctor like trips like coming through the doors, like the first shot. The doctor on like when you're watching it the screen, when you're watching the screen on the left, it just comes in. He's like, oh shit, and just like kind of like compose himself
like,
a little bit.
We're good.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll keep it.
I like this. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
It's natural. It's natural.
Yeah, it seems real natural. I love this.
They show her driver's license fall to the floor, and the first thing that caught my eye was that it just says marital status single. And I was like, no. Like there's never been on a driver's license where you have to put your marital status, and like, well, we gotta drive home the point that she's a single mom.
We
gotta drive the point. There is no dad in the picture here, guys. She is single.
There's no
We
father.
need to know this.
Okay, no father.
No
Don't
father
ask questions
involved in
about
this.
her dad, because we ain't gonna answer.
That's
You
right.
look, see this license? Move on.
Yep.
We did it. We covered our steps.
We just want to make sure that box has been checked.
I did though have to Google. Has there ever been marital status? No,
It's never been a thing.
Why
has
would
it?
that ever be a thing? It says here
Yeah.
you're 5'10" and single.
Well. Seems we have more to talk about.
You're coming with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the lady at the DMV is like, you're back. It's been a week. You want to change it?
Really?
You want to change it?
Really?
You've been here 7 times in the last year. We're
Yeah.
going to change it again. Okay, you got it.
Yeah. You want to keep doing this, huh? It's like, it starts out very dramatic, very ER.
Actually, a lot of the first 20 minutes is kind of ER.
Yeah, it really is. You're dropped into this.
Blood raves and all.
Dude, Noah Wiley loves blood raves.
Dude, speaking of George Clooney, here we are, like, no, ER, and it's just like, when they take the baby out, like they the doctor has, that's a big baby, by the way. It's a massive child.
Until you have children, you don't realize that that's
Yeah.
what they do in movies and TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, here's a 3-month-old. Pretend like it was a newborn.
Right.
They cover him in red KY. And,
Yeah. And just like that thing is massive coming out of there. And it's like, I know it's a baby, and it's just like, they don't even look that gross though in real life. Like there's something going on with this child. Like it looks like Donald Logue later on.
Maybe it's some sort of hybrid vampire.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, that's
We don't know yet. Keep going. Keep trucking.
All right, we'll keep going.
What
We'll
is
figure it
this
out.
guy wearing
Who?
in the next scene here? When we're in now.
You talking about the dude going to the rave?
Yeah, who calls his dick the heat seeker?
Yeah. Did you see his name in the credits? It's Dennis the Heat Seeker or Heat Seeking Dennis. That's what it's titled as. Heat-seeking Dennis.
This guy's name is Kenny Johnson, and the way that I know him, I don't know if you guys were fans of The Shield. I think we've talked about this.
Watched the first
FX
episode.
series. He plays Lem, in one of the guys in The Shield, one of the cops of their little special task force, and I love this dude. So when he came into this, I was like, oh fuck, like it's not good. He's not great in this. I don't feel they could have at least made me feel like sorry for him.
This is like the most like
I don't feel sorry for him at all.
Yeah, this is the most unempathetic character maybe to ever exist. Like there's no good intentions of this man.
No.
He's like, nah, I'm gonna go get laid or something with my heat seeker. and by the way,
because
and then
inside of you is hot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
bet
I'm
it's,
finding it.
I bet it's warm in there because I'm seeking the heat. With
Anyway, here's a really cool hat.
with my red Kanga hat.
Dude.
I'll tell you what though,
And
Sean,
dude, those tips, like
they should have gone with the backwards upside down visor.
it's
If they wanted to be in this era, they should have done that. At a rave, they should have, bro.
late 20s is backwards red Kanga hat. Early 20s is backwards upside down visor. You
Maybe
know?
slightly turned to the side.
There
too.
you go. Yeah.
With like an ace in it.
Oh yeah. With an ace in it, dude. And then they'd call him Ace.
Yeah, man.
No, he is maybe the worst. Like he is quite literally just cannon fodder for the scene.
We needed it.
We just needed something to literally chew on for this scene.
Tracy Lord's looking good. I
Rock and
like
roll.
Tracy Lord.
She's the one that brings him in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, man, Sean. Did you guys ever used to go to raves or anything like that? Was that even of
wasn't
your
allowed.
time?
No.
I wasn't allowed.
There's-
I brought my trench coat, and they were like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, they're like you
You
don't
would have
belong
fit in
here.
so well. Listen, 98 to like 2000, in my opinion, is probably like the height of like rave culture. And the fact that this is the opening scene just takes me back in time. I was never like, I didn't like do drugs and stuff like that, but I just wanted to be at these things. So I went to a few, and I used to love techno music so much, like modern day techno and stuff, whatever. But this era of techno, I was on my feet when this scene was going on. I was like,
Yeah.
let's fucking go,
Dude,
man.
I had my speakers bumping, and this music is bumping. I
Dude.
was like, she could get down, you know, that's just what is it,
so
quicksand
good.
or whatever. the fuck it is.
I never got to experience anything like this. Probably like at the right age. The closest thing was one time we went to Vegas. It was like a buddy's birthday, and somebody got tickets, like an entrance thing,
Yes.
into Hakkasan, I think, or whatever. It's like a big club over there. And like we went through 20 minutes of lines and like getting checked by security and ridiculousness and taking like, oh, you have to check your coat, you have to check that sweatshirt and your hat, and you have to do this, and then you get in there and you're paying $12 for a small can of like Michelob Ultra, and water isn't available at the bar.
Can't have water.
And you're in there and you're just doing the same thing. And you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. This is the worst place I've ever been. I could be at the other place playing big yard games with my buds, like with pitchers.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't
Just
get me
pitchers
wrong,
of
I
beer.
don't want to go there now.
It's like, I just think this is ridiculous. And this place this is where Sonya Blade busts into.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be there? Nobody wants to be at this place. Nobody actually wants to be here.
I gotta
don't
be
think.
honest though.
I
like,
don't
if,
trust
if
it.
I ever went to a rave and I was just like feeling uncomfortable, like, you know what would be better is if like a bunch of blood started falling from the ceiling right now. Like that would probably
would
get
make me feel
in.
better.
That would probably get me in, just like, you know, covering your drink a little bit, having a good time.
This guy is so like. There's something so funny about this asshole in the middle of this room and this place, and he's just like, "Yeah, all right," and he's just getting knocked. He's like, "Yeah, dang it!"
Or like his girl that he came with goes up to another girl. He's like, "Okay, here we go."
He's like, "Yeah,
all
this is
right.
gonna be good."
This kind of party," and she shoves him out of the way. She's like, "Oh man."
That's a really good impression.
man.
Oh, man.
Dang it! He's like, maybe I shouldn't have worn a different hat, a different colored hat or
I
something.
think I should point it forward, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's like looking around where he can get a drink. He can't do that. There's no place to be a wallflower. You can't hang by the bar. Cool. This guy's done, man.
Well, as they're walking into, I did not notice this ever, but until doing research for the show, is that like the things go by. It's like, I don't know what this place is, but the things go by and he looks back and they're like bodies in body bags.
Yeah.
And there was originally a bigger plot where they show it earlier where Deacon Frost has people just like siphoning people for blood bags because he wants to take over the world and have everyone be vampires, so they're going to need food. So he just like kidnaps people and has them like on medical leave forever.
Yeah, they're on FMLA for
long term. But yeah, he just like there's like a row of like people that just go by of like hanging people, and I'm like, oh, I never noticed that.
Well,
like little things here and there just like suggest little things, and it's really creepy.
I pictured that the floor above them is just a giant meat locker of humans dead hanging upside down with a hole in their body and all the blood rushing into like the floor, then rushing into this pump system that pressurizes it, that then shoots it out through the
Definitely.
like this happens every night. They always at 11:45, that's when the beat drops, that's when the blood comes out.
That's why this club's so expensive. It's hard to come by.
Because they literally are raining your bottle service from the from the ceiling. That's what's happening here. Like, this is, if you're a vampire, let's be real. If you're a vampire, no wonder the like crotchety older guys are upset about this. Like, you're just being wasteful.
Correct.
You're wasting our food. And by the way, you're just raining it on people. That's not good.
What are they gonna do?
We drink the blood. We don't bathe in it, asshole.
I do like to picture that everybody there is a vampire, because I think it's kind of implied that everybody there, except for our boy Kenny Johnson. But I also like to think that the DJ is a human. That he's just taking whatever gigs he can
He's just
get.
very good.
He's just really good, and they agree to like leave him alone as long as he doesn't ask many questions. He's like, that's like some sort of like red colored water. They're like, yeah, just 11:45 and make sure you do the drop, the New Order remix. That's the one we need. Okay, now don't go into the back room. Your green room is specifically over in this room. Okay,
he's played this club before, and he's like, look, if I'm coming back here, you guys are putting covers over my equipment. Okay, we're not dealing with this anymore. I'm not cleaning this up again. It coagulated. It just hardens. It's really hard to get off of my equipment.
He starts making unrealistic requests to be like, listen, hopefully they'll say no, but if they do say yes, at least like I'm making more money.
Right.
You know what? This time I really don't want to do it. I'm going to ask him for like a weird pair of like headlight glasses.
I need to see through all this.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And like, I doubt they'll be able to find them. This is like the hottest thing right now on the market. Nobody can find those headlight glasses. Wow. Yeah, we found them.
They know a guy.
Fuck. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, well, I'll be there Tuesday night, I guess.
I will be there, apparently.
So you guys want the final song to be the New Order remix? Because the last time I did it, my final song, what I close with usually is the Dragula one. And there were some people there like Neo and Trinity were there or something. And then like before that, I closed with something else, and kind of a fight broke out between like Sonya played. Like so I will calm it down a little bit. Maybe Blood will just kind of like make people kind of like get together and not like want to fight or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Actually, and I don't know if you know this, I'm not just a DJ. I'm actually the bass player in a band called Semisonic.
Yeah.
Oh.
We just released a song called Closing Time that we're like kind of hoping that's going to be the song that maybe like everybody plays at the end of the night.
We need everyone to get out. You know?
I don't know.
Move on with the night. We can't have you guys here forever.
I don't know. It might.
Wait.
Give it a listen. Here's our demo CD.
You guys gotta go sleep.
Is that a fact? Is the DJ in this the bass player of
100%.
Semisonic?
Yes. Yes.
Who does closing time?
Yes, 100%.
You're being honest with me?
I'm so honest with you right now that anybody out there is just gonna have their mind blown just like you, man.
Can we then just get the like redub of this of Blade's fight sequence after this? It's just a closing time. So gather
the blood that happens and the New Order Confused remix, but then it fades out to right when he crawls to Blade's feet, and it goes closing time.
And every vampire in the background is like, dang it.
Dang it, I don't wanna.
You can't stay here. Oh man, I need that in my life.
All the speed ramping techniques in this movie, like it is very of the time to do like that sort of speed ramping, like music video ish kind of look. But I think it works for this, in my opinion, because it freaked me out as a kid, and it still kind of freaks me out, especially like the glimpses of all the vampire faces of them just like like intimidating
good,
him.
man.
They still are like kind of stark and freaky, but even when he's crawling on the ground, it's like you can tell it's like at a higher frame rate too.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about it that looks good. I really, really like the cinematography in this movie a lot.
Sean, I was so worried. The minute he started fighting. I'm like, this movie's gonna feel like outdated. I bet the special effects are garbage, dude. Like we'll talk about it as this movie goes on, but he starts killing these people and they start like exploding and turning to dust. I'm like,
fuck yeah.
The vampire.
Oh my God.
The vampire deaths are one of those things that I really thought like. And there's some later on we'll get to, but
yeah.
But the vampire deaths in this I think are pretty great.
Yeah.
The only thing about this, especially in the beginning, I don't like it's not like a gross thing, to be completely honest. Like it's the amount of blood though is over the top to me. It's actually what makes it like less weird to me, less scary. If there was a smaller amount of blood, like not everybody just completely covered in red, it would actually be scarier to me. It would be like freakier to me.
Okay.
I know that's weird. Like if it was well placed on their faces or something, like they all just got done like feasting. You know what I mean? But the excess of blood is what makes it less scary. Maybe that's a good thing because it's more actiony then. But other than that, special effects, the fight sequences, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty great. That first vampire death is great when it just disintegrates. Looks great.
Yeah, and Wesley Snipes as Blade is just fucking iconic at this point. I think he's incredible. I think it's his role.
I don't think anybody else could have done it.
No, I think it's like out of his whole career, like, arguably, like even what Jarrett said,
To Wong Fu.
Yeah, To Wong Fu. It's a great role as well, but this is just like this is where it's at for Wesley Snipes. Like he is Blade.
You're hearing this through the eyes of somebody who's never seen this before, okay? And I watched it the first time, and for the most part, the first time through, I was like, yeah, like I don't really like the kind of dry, like give me some emotion. I don't like just him being like, yeah, I'm just a vampire hunter and I have no emotion. But then going back through another time, there are those subtle little things that is his version of emotion. Like when he finally gets that iconic curved knife. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and he smiles. And then when he does the fist pump after staking him to the wall, I love it because it's not over the top.
It's just the right amount.
And there's so many more we'll talk about as we go on. But it took me, I had to get through it a second time to be like, I get it. And I'm so on board.
It is a comic book movie.
I still don't get it.
Oh,
I still don't get
You
it.
don't like it?
And those are the moments I did not like. It drove me nuts because there is showing an emotion and then there's out of character.
Okay.
And Blade as a character is like, it means because that to me means that the rest of him being stoic and like solemn and like strong silent is an act.
Maybe it is, bro.
That's just
He lost his mom, dude. Like,
But he wants to fuck her.
so then he just he also just like he lost his mom, so he kind of never grew up. It's like, yeah, dude.
He's a Ninja Turtle, man.
He just lives in a Crossfire commercial. Like what? Like what? Yeah. That's what I picture. Blade is the final boss of Crossfire.
Okay. All right, fine. All right,
That's
fine.
it. All right, fine.
I see what you're saying. It just does work for me. In the fact that it is just like it is a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And those kind of flourishes are like I see those moments more as like Wesley Snipes having a fucking great time.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's
you know
right.
what I mean? And like maybe it does take away from his like overall character of being stoic and being so hurt and losing his mom right as soon as he was born. I have questions about that later actually, but I see it as more of like he's just having a great time, and it's more like obviously him and Steve Norrington wanted to do more of a like kung fu oriented movie. Like the old kung fu movies, like Jackie Chan and stuff like that. But I think that comes through a lot, and then the drama takes over, and it never really took away from me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Like, and to be fair, this isn't necessarily. I kind of love it when we say this. It gives a great perception of like when we catch movies and catch actors and stuff. This isn't my Wesley Snipes. My Wesley Snipes is Demolition Man.
Okay.
Right?
Which is even more hammy in that.
It is.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know? So I'm not opposed to him doing these types of things. But if you're doing a character and then things become out of character, then that's what pulls me out of a performance.
I see.
And so my Wesley Snipes is Demolition Man. And this is like, man, when he's in his Blade moments, that's when I really love this. That's when I'm a big fan.
Fair. I mean, yeah, like the fighting is incredible too. Like just the choreography and everything is just great, and I think it's very well filmed as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you there too. By the way, like I think that the choreography is very good. I think the martial arts is pretty darn good. Like it's shows a little bit of age,
Sure.
but not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to scene 2. So while Quinn's body is being examined at the hospital, he awakens and kills the examiner by biting his neck. He bites Dr. Karen Jensen before Blade arrives and saves her. Blade takes Karen with him and goes to his hideout to talk to Abraham Whistler. They try to stop Karen from turning into a vampire.
By the way, when Quinn comes like out of like the threesome that he's in when he's in the club or whatever, he's got like his posse with him, and he points at Blade. He's like, "That's him." No shit. All of the dead vampires around.
The trail of dead vampires around him. The guy holding the sword with the cool outfit?
The Daywalker. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, 100%.
Are you sure?
No, I'm pretty sure.
no.
Let's take a closer look.
That's him.
I did want to point this out because I had this in my notes before I started doing some research on it. But I very much wrote down about this. We get to the hospital and you've got Karen and Curtis, her boyfriend, in this scene that seems to go on for so long. It's almost 2 minutes of them like having an annoying conversation, like the worst conversation you could ever have. And then, jump scare. But I was so happy to read that apparently Norrington and Goyer, they called it the Melrose Place segment. This like dull romantic segment to lull the audience into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
And I felt that way. Apparently the studio wanted to cut the scene, but they fought for it. They're like, no, this needs to be here because we just watched this crazy awesome thing. Bring it down. Hold on to that. Hold on to that jump scare. And apparently it was one of the strongest reactions at the test screening. And so it immediately stayed in.
And he looks fucking scary, man, as this burnt to crisp vampire.
Donald Logue.
Yeah, he looks so creepy in this like whole makeup thing.
They've got like he really does. He's very creepy in this. It's also like it's very funny to think that I like to think that like Blade and him have had run-ins before.
Of course.
And like he's just done this. He's like half killed him like so many times, and he's like he said he's like figured this time I'll try fire. You know, he's burned him, dropped a piano on him, you know, that kind of shit.
But Blade knows that he didn't kill him.
Right. He knows for a fact.
Does he do this on purpose? Does he leave? Does he let him get to the hospital
Dude,
on purpose?
Thank you. Thank you.
Because he shows up. He knows. He's like, oh, fuck, I better finish my meal real quick. Like, he's probably about time he's going to come out of that death burn that he has, and he's going to wake up and try to kill everybody in the hospital.
Yeah, what's he doing?
I got to get there.
He stopped. What does he do? He stops down at like Whistler's or something. He stops by a microwave a lean cuisine, and then he goes back up to fucking
hungry,
finish the
man.
job. What's
he even
going
says
on?
came back to finish you off.
Yeah.
Need my macros, but I think he was interrupted by the cops.
Okay, that's the
Like,
only thing I could think of
all
is that
right.
he was going to let him burn and just suffer as long as he could and then kill
And
him.
then finish him off. But then, like at the same time, when he does like get interrupted by the cops, and the cops come in, they're not like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
They're just like, "Oh yeah, see this every day."
Yeah.
Blood and shit everywhere, burnt bones and shit everywhere, and a guy on fire, and just one guy with a Kanga hat living.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of problems with the cops in this movie.
Well, the cops come in, and one of them's just like, "Put him out." You did.
Put him out.
Jesus Christ.
But then
Alicia, my wife, literally asked me at that moment, "Is this a world where like vampires and humans like coexist?
It has
or
to
is it
be.
like, or is it still like an underground thing? And I couldn't answer it. I didn't know.
We find out that the cops are in on it with some of them
to a degree in on it.
with the vampires.
So
yeah.
they know.
Okay.
But then even this, you've got Blade saving Karen, picking her up and starting to run down the hallway, and these cops open fire.
Yeah.
He has a hostage who works here, who's a doctor, and they're like, get him, blah,
Yep.
blah, 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 and shoot probably 100 rounds at him.
They put a bunch into him. And maybe this is one of the little breaks that I don't mind, per se. He's like, motherfucker, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But like, but you're right. It's so... I guess what else are you going to do if you think you've got... Like, they may just assume Blade is just like another killer. Or like another, he's just another dangerous person.
Or maybe they showed up to the rave to get Blade.
Oh, okay.
And
Because they're working for...
They knew, yeah. They knew
For
he was
Frost.
going to go back to the hospital to finish Quinn off, and so
Okay.
they came as well.
Okay.
One thing that I did learn about Donald Logan this scene is that
This is wild.
yeah, when he is in this hospital scene, he kind of like runs by and like, or is just like in the scuffle with Blade and the woman. He like dislocated his entire jaw at one point, and so he actually had to be rushed to a hospital in this burnt bodysuit makeup. And so it's kind of real, him going to a hospital, and everyone's like, "The fuck, man?
Yeah.
We can't help you here."
So people are like, people are in this emergency room with like a cough, or they're like, I've just got this. I'm burning up.
No medicine won't work. I don't know.
I got a fever of 103, and then a burn victim guy like walks in with a dislocated jaw,
Just like,
and he's like, "Well, I'm not that hot." So, dude, that's pretty
The
rough.
actual quote was, I've got this guy who's dressed as a third-degree burn victim, essentially naked, running in with his jaw hanging down. The room cleared out pretty fast.
Oh, dude. Well,
Yeah, you can hear him. I think they said some of the audio stayed in from when he did.
Oh God.
Right away when he gets up, there's this terrifying high screeching like
Man.
and I'm pretty sure that like that was him
Ugh.
actually having done that.
well,
I don't like that.
Donald Logue was honestly, his character was really supposed to be. I'm guessing his character is supposed to be probably finished off by this point.
Yeah.
And he was around on set, and they liked him, and he was funny, and he was just a good presence to be around on set. They just kind
He's
of let
Kino, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He is Kino. They like let him continue on through the movie. He ad-libbed a lot through this, which I love because I love Donald Logue.
He's great, and he's like in every movie from like this point on to like like Gone in 60 Seconds
Oh,
and
geez.
shit. Right? He was in that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was he?
I don't know.
let me look.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
He was in like, dude, he was in like The Patriot.
Yeah.
He's in like so many great like character like side B roles. He is such a great face and presence and kind of an everyman that like I don't know, just a little Donald Logue appreciation.
Oh,
right?
100%. I figured that we were all big fans of him, and sir, if you're listening, we would love to have you on the show.
He can do it all. Like he was in Gotham. His TV like resume has been amazing too. And like when he was in Gotham, but then also Sons of Anarchy. He was in a season of Sons of Anarchy, a couple of them maybe. Just phenomenal. He can do so much. And this is like really great. I mean, our first introduction is like him just getting dome at that blood orgy, like rave, and then he just continues on just being more and more outlandish. It's
Yes.
great. He's awesome.
And sorry, more on Donald.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him lately, but I really like the relationship that he has with Frost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like clearly they were just bros. Like they were just like college buddies that just smoked a lot of weed together and then they got turned. And he's still kind of like one of his best bros that's still kind of a stoner. It's
Happens to
like,
all of us, man.
fucking
Yeah.
I still got to bring my buddy with him. Like I know you're going to take over the world, Frost, but like he's my buddy.
He doesn't have any ambitions. I'm the one that has
It's
ambitions.
Shaun of the Dead,
I
baby.
bring him with. Yeah.
Like you got to bring him with you.
Frost invented Facebook, vampire Facebook, and and this guy tagged along, and he was on the masthead. That's what it was.
Basically what it was,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, oh man, he throws her across the building and then he jumps.
Dude.
And did you guys see his trench coat like come down?
Dude, yeah, dude.
And then like with the music, it's like, oh man, like best shot of the movie.
And
You
dude,
recreated that a lot in your
Oh
backyard,
yeah,
didn't you?
I had my trampoline, got a lot of
Trampoline.
use out of it.
Dude, that was right
Fucking
on.
awesome, dude. I wish I had it here with me. It's just in storage right now, and I have to have a code to get it out, and I just didn't remember it.
That's
So-
fine. Totally fine, man.
Dude, the idea though that he just like chucks her. You just can't.
There's a lot of chucking of
Like,
people in this movie.
There really is. It's pretty disturbing,
Yep.
and like people are fragile. All right. And how did he know it was just like boxes and debris down there? Like, you sure there's not like a grill under there? Like somebody's just like storing it for, you know what I mean? It's pretty. I don't know. It was upsetting that just threw her and then dusts her off, kind of be like, yeah, all right,
You're
all right,
good.
let's go.
You're good. We're getting shot at. We
Yeah.
gotta go.
We gotta go.
At this point, I wrote down that I really liked the music because it was like really understated in this point, and it was really creepy. It was like really kind of like droney and bassy at this point instead of just like really like over the top, kind of exciting like you would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was just there was something about it that was like very. I guess the only way I can describe it is like tony and bassy, and I don't know, something about it I really liked, and I like it throughout the entire movie as well. Like Mark Isham, we've had him on the show before doing some movies, but yeah, Hitcher and Point Break, and he did Running Scared.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff by him. I liked it a lot.
I enjoy it. Like the music was never like blew me away, but it never interrupted me from just like watching the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes when it's even too good, it can do that to you. It can make you feel good, but then sometimes it's just like, ooh, this is over the top, right? But I don't know. I think him taking her back to Whistler's place, Chris Christopherson, anyone?
Yes, please.
I'm going to go on a record. I am a giant Chris Christopherson fan.
Yeah.
The Highwaymen, come on, get out of here, dude. He's the only living member left of the Highwaymen, I think, at this point. Cash, Nelson, Waylon Jennings. The man is a incredible, awesome dude. I sometimes have trouble in this movie. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'm just like, yeah. But you're just like, they just put you in there because you're Chris Christopherson. Not saying he's like the greatest actor in the world. Can I say that?
Yeah.
He's definitely a presence.
Yes. He's like, oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that guy.
You know what? And I think that they were banking on that upon his reveal, though, too. It's Chris Christopherson, and like they kind of have that moment of like we get back to home base, and it kind of does
There he is.
that kind of zoom in. Oh, that's him. You know, it's Chris Christopherson, not Whistler. It's Chris Christopherson. I think the only
because wasn't Whistler not really even like a giant deal in it,
No,
and
I
then
think-
they like kind of made him into it because of this,
I
right?
think he wasn't even in the comics. I think the person that like helped Blade with his like powers or like help train him was another black guy in the comics. I think I forget his name, but
it's Bible John something.
Something
I
like
can't remember. Basically, that idea. Who helped him? Who supplies the weapons? Who gives him the understanding and kind of is that mentor presence? But you're right. I think Whistler was actually he was like created somewhere like 4 years ahead of this. He was not really canon at all.
But clearly that means this character in this movie spoke to people and like they liked it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I like it. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
this character.
I
It's
think
amazing.
I think
He's
it's
great.
I think it's a great character. I think the thing maybe speaking to what you're saying of the performance, sometimes the dialogue, it's
okay.
just the delivery. The dialogue is just a little like it's a little clunky.
Like I don't
you
feel
know?
like he would say crosses in holy water don't do dick.
Don't do dick.
It's like okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
as far as and he's pretty much this. He gets like our titular character, our kind of exposition.
Yeah,
dump, with the woman, what's her name?
Karen.
Karen. She's pretty much the exposition dump, and he is giving the exposition to her and the audience. And who better than like Chris Christopherson
I believe you.
or
Yeah.
Jesus, what's the man in the Big Lebowski?
Oh,
Yeah, Sam Elliott.
Sam
Yeah.
Elliott.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're telling lies, but I believe
Just
you.
keep talking. I
Can
don't
we
care.
be friends?
I'm gonna keep listening if you keep talking. I'm not gonna interrupt.
Listening to Bad Moon Rising, which is like, I thought that was werewolves, but
Yeah,
all right,
Whatever,
right.
all
whatever.
right, that's fine.
it's fine.
Well, let's move on to scene 3. So meanwhile, Frost clashes with his vampire elders at the House of Erebus. Shunned for his radical views and reckless activities, Frost believes that he can awaken La Magra, the blood god, to gain absolute power. Blade and Karen encounter a corrupt cop and force him to lead them to the vampires, keeping all their records. They are attacked and escape through the subway. Let's real quick get into the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. This is our second Wesley Snipes movie.
Okay.
Major League.
Okay.
Don't forget about that.
Yep.
I know Jarrett did.
Oh, Jarrett.
Just throwing it out there. But
Come on, baby.
Udo Kier,
Yeah, man.
his third movie.
Let's go,
Really?
baby.
He was in Blade. Obviously, he was in Armageddon. He was like the psychologist in Armageddon.
Yes, he was.
And he was Ronald Camp in Ace Ventura. And it got me thinking just a tiny little bit, Sean. What did Ronald Camp do? I mean, I know he had a bunch of money in Ace Ventura. I know he was like a philanthropist. We never see Ronald Camp in the daylight in Ace Ventura. What? And you know, we don't know. We know that these guys, these council members, that they're full-blooded vampires.
Yeah.
We know they're a part of society, that they make a lot of money and they make a lot of important decisions. What if this is Ronald Camp, man?
I'm into that.
Just gonna throw it out there.
I'm into that.
Man,
he's,
I'm in.
he's a business guy. He's a business guy. And as we find out here in this scene, we kind of find out that the vampire coalition, I guess, or group is pretty much kind of like the mob. They run everything. They have people in the cops. They have people here. They have people there. Yeah, I could
They
totally
throw
see that.
big parties. They're kind of dicks when they talk. Like, should I just call him lawyer?
Yeah.
You know, like,
It is. You know what? The fact that you bring that up actually
Who are
makes,
bloodsuckers.
Yeah. See, everybody loves a good lawyer joke.
Why'd they cancel us? Why'd they
What's
cancel our
going
show?
on here?
sharks. When sharks eat you,
They
Blood?
smell blood in the water.
Oh, wow, dude.
well, that's it, guys. We're out of here. We did it.
wowzers.
I want to hear what
Thanks.
AJ has to say.
I'll try.
Keep going.
Yeah, please. It's not important. No, I actually like that a lot. That the like kind of comparing this vampire council, if you will, to the mob.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a great.
I wish there was kind of more of that. To be completely honest, I wish it was more of that because if we were to flip this and like look at it of like the mob side. Okay, so basically this is Boondock Saints. But it's vampires, and
It's
just
John
one. It's
Wick,
just Boondock Saints,
But it's vampires.
and
All right.
and that's. But I actually wish we could have had a little bit more of that. That would have been a fun flip of the story to kind of understand that, because then you have Frost, who's the up and coming, or like the new generation of vampires, and you have the old boss versus the new blood. You know what I mean? That would have been. I think that would have been a lot more fun to focus on than kind of what we got out of this side of it. To be honest.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I like the suggestion of it for sure, and they play on it a little bit with like when the cop does show up to her apartment. You know, feeling like just look around, look like because they're everywhere.
And kind of,
I'm
they say
telling
that,
you.
like they're everywhere.
Yeah, like like one out of every 5 person, or like something like that. I like that setup of it a lot. To think about it like that is really cool, and it does feel very comic booky, to be honest, to set
Yeah.
up that world, like this is what we're dealing with kind of thing. A little bit more on Udo Kier is that he says, I was born a vampire, and I'm like, that wasn't even in the script. I think that's just Udo Kier saying
Yeah.
that. You know,
That's him
'Cause he
just saying
is.
it. Just say whatever.
he
Just
is.
say the word vampire. Are we rolling? Go.
go ahead.
Hey, can we just get a lot of shots of him saying vampire at different angles? Sounds good. That'd be great. Appreciate it.
Let's take a second to talk about Steven Dorff.
Okay.
I did read that Skeet Ulrich was supposed to play Deacon Frost.
AJ,
Could have done it. Could have done it. But
Get out.
not
of
to say that he would have done better. I think he could have done better. He could have done it, but I don't know if he would have done it. It would have been a lot of like.
But instead
it couldn't have been me.
Couldn't have been me. It's a lot of him pushing his tongue against his back teeth.
He would
That's
have
what
been
it-
overtly evil in this.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have done a good job.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But instead, we have Steven Dorff, who, in my opinion, has dethroned our sniffing champion. Did you hear how many times he sniffs on camera, guys?
No.
Oh,
I literally didn't notice it at all.
congratulations. The next time you go back,
You've ruined
that's
this
all
now
I'm
for
gonna-
Sean.
yeah.
the
That's all
movie is ruined. Who did we say was the sniffing champion?
Well, I thought it was Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, but also Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
I'm pretty sure Steven Dorff sniffs audibly more than any movie I've ever seen anyone sniff. It is the way he presents himself. You know, he's just got that like tough guy attitude.
It's that I hear you, but I don't care. You know.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm going to apologize ahead of time.
I am going to
Frost.
rewatch this and head straight to the sequel because that's my plan. But
There you go.
The first time I ever saw Steven Dorff, though, was a movie called Cold Creek Manor. Did anyone ever
yes,
say that?
yeah.
I that was the first time I ever saw him
Is
in
Ryan
films.
Gosling
No,
in it?
so Dennis Quaid, Sharon Stone, Juliette Lewis.
Okay. Yeah.
And like it has terrible reviews, by the way. But I saw it, and I was like, this is pretty good, like
The-
because I was young.
Yeah.
But Steven Dorff, the first time I ever saw him in a film was that, and that dude. Say what you want maybe about him. I don't know maybe what public opinion is, but I love the choice to have him in this movie because he's so believable as the young, rebellious, good-looking, great hair. That's like, no, fuck you. What are we doing here? Like, let's make some moves.
You guys are
Let's-
old, dude. Let's go. Let's move
make
this
it-
thing forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe that's why I don't like the idea of Skeet Ulrich or anybody else. This is my guy. I need the powerful, good-looking guy that can just bring people to him.
He's got the look.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Very,
I know
very
what
much
I'm
so.
doing.
AJ, yes, he
Yeah.
does have a great look.
It's that
his
look.
eyes.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is his immediate reveal in the beginning of this
Yeah.
movie.
He's in the Blood Rave.
Yeah, when he checks the
Yeah.
shoulder of heat-seeking Dennis, and he's just like
Didn't see that one coming.
Yep. Yeah.
Ow.
He didn't sense that heat. Boy. Well, and but he kind of checks him. He gives him the look, and he kind of disappears. And it's a great reveal. It's a great nod, and his presence is definitely felt. The first time I ever saw Steven Dorff was when he was promoting e-cigarettes in a commercial.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And that's all I can ever think about is his eternal youth of promoting e-cigarettes as a vampire. That's all I think about.
Hey, it made me want to have a cigarette after watching this movie.
There you go, man.
Right, dude?
See?
He does smoke cigarettes pretty good.
It's nicotine. It helps me. I can quit. I'm Steven Dorff. That's what we got.
See, it doesn't even stink.
I don't have that stench around me anymore.
I don't know what it is about me just listening to people sniff in movies, but no, that's me.
We're gonna fight back. Spills coffee
My
out
name
of
is John Dutton.
My name's John Dutton. Throws whiskey from a coffee cup.
It's
We're
in
gonna
the script.
fight.
Sniff.
Family's gonna fight.
Sniff.
My family.
Also, his like when he like has the most
Where's my
pronounced like lips as far as the vampire teeth go.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people. Like he seems. I don't know if it's like he seems the most uncomfortable with it in his mouth. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Or like it just looks the most natural for him.
He looks like a kid who just got braces.
Yeah.
You know, like up top. I know. He was like, he doesn't. He's not quite sure how to smile.
Yeah.
Yet because he just got braces, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing about the performance, maybe for a lot of them. But yeah, he's. Please if you're not on YouTube, then please you can join us now. We've had several visual gags that are worth your time, and it's so true. It's just like even when he's like was the first reveal walking through the club, it's just like.
It's great. It's still awesome though.
You're right. It's emo. It's Pete Wentz before Pete Wentz.
Oh
man.
wow, good call.
Good
sad.
call.
I
dude.
hate that, but good call.
I hate you for that, but
Thanks for again another thing I'll never unsee.
two more Blade things here that he does that maybe AJ doesn't like, but we like.
Let's do it.
When he gets in the car, he gets in the car after when remember they're waiting for the cops. There's like, he's never gonna come back to the car, and he does, and he goes, and he like smiles at her. And then when they get in that elevator that's in the fridge or whatever, after they force the cop to show him where it's at, it feels so out of place to me, but I don't care. Is the door's closing, and he goes, yeah. And he like looks at her and like smiles. And you're right. On AJ's point of view, it does not feel correct that he's doing this. But Blade is so damn cool that I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why those little moments stuck with me every time I watch this.
I'm with you.
You know what I compare it to? It's like a fourth wall break.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way it feels to me. And I'm not like in the sense of like,
No, it just takes you out of it.
yeah, it's like a nod to the audience because you're feeling the same thing.
Right.
But he's expressing it on screen. Not in the sense of like because it's a comic book movie, right? So not in the sense of like a Deadpool fourth break. It's just that it's a John Hughes fourth wall break. There's always, in every John Hughes movie, there's always a fourth wall break. The Ferris Bueller look at the camera or talk at the camera. Pretty in Pink.
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
I made my family disappear.
Every single John Hughes movie, there's always a single, at least one, like little small one. And that's what these are to me. Fourth wall break.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that, but then I'm like, and it's not
For better or
this,
for worse. I'm not saying
Sure.
good or bad. Yeah.
for sure. And it's hard to compare it to this because it is a movie and not a comic, but like seeing like flipping of panels and being like, oh, they're having a conversation, and like then that scene happens where the cop comes back and it's just like one big panel of him smiling. You know, I'd be like, fuck yeah, Blade.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, Blade's always right. What does Karen know about shit?
Karen, you're new here.
You're new here. You're probably going to die in a couple days. We're not sure.
We'll figure it out.
Thank God you work with blood because...
Yeah. You wouldn't have any value at all otherwise.
The fact that like the cops are like the familiars for like, especially this one for Deacon Frost, is a really cool thing too. I like that it does seem like they can't get away from it, and it does seem like almost Matrixy, where it's just like, oh, I didn't know all of this was going on until now. Like, holy shit, my mind is opened up to all this.
Right.
And like when she sees the tattoos on the people when she's going up in the elevator and shit, like, keep your eyes open, they're everywhere. And it's like she's judging them to be like vampires. It's like, listen, just because we're dressed to look like we're going to a rave doesn't mean we're vampires, okay?
Right.
Like, we may be vampires, but doesn't mean we listen to rave music, okay? I just don't want you to think that about us.
My insurance agent's a vampire. Like, they don't all go to raves, bro.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes they go do their job and then go home and like...
He likes Kenny G.
Fuck, he loves Kenny G. Kenny
come
G's a
on.
vampire.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to.
How do you think he can play notes for like 87 minutes without taking a breath?
How do you think he's still alive?
Vampires.
All right.
He did so much coke in the days.
Did you really?
I don't know.
would
Allegedly.
No.
It would make a lot of sense if he's spending that much time on a piccolo, but it would actually bring delight. You know, it'd bring a lot of yeah. It would make.
You know what? I'm gonna be the one to get famous from playing a piccolo.
It would iron out a lot of creases in the Kenny G.
He told his wife one day, he said, hey, listen, I'm known for sucking, but I want to be known for blowing.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right. Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
That's good.
Sean's like, where are my notes at? I gotta keep going.
I'm not moving on from here. You
He's
go
like,
ahead. You go
Sean,
ahead and take it.
Sean's worst nightmare when talking about Blade and trench coat. How did we get onto this? Kenny
brought
G.
it up.
I
He
brought up
started
Kenny
it.
G.
Yeah.
This is
Son of a
He
bitch.
knew
How'd
it was
they
gonna
do-
happen.
This
Just
is
like
on me.
Mike planned it. Okay.
My note says, make Sean talk about Kenny.
Kenny G is always on
Yeah,
me.
you know, just throw back a glass of red, throw on some Kenny G, and that's what that's what they do.
Does anybody want to throw out their punchable face to perhaps someone in this scene that we've done?
Is this?
I'm just gonna do it for the sake of doing it, even though I have other ones. I'm throwing it out there.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
Listen, I can deal with lore of vampires. I can deal with like your skeleton comes out of you with wings and flies. I can deal with blood gods. I can deal with all this, but what I can never deal with is stupid fucking characters like this blob thing.
Yeah.
Why? Why do we have to do this? And why do we have to like make it kind of funny and like just so stupid?
It feels very Spawn. You know what I mean? Like the character, or the comic book Spawn feels very much in that way, and it doesn't feel necessary for this realm.
There's nothing that happens here that like we couldn't figure a way around. And I guess it's part of the comic book, right? What is this blob's name? Like it's like Lucy or
Pearl.
It's just so stupid.
You don't like this?
I hate it.
I like it.
Go ahead.
That's why I'm setting you up, man.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, this is my punchable face. Like, this thing is awful.
It's gross.
This is very bad.
What's the background on it too? Like it like eats children. That's
and
why
like eats children. And it's like pretty much like they're all like standalone, can't move security person who is just like makes sure everything's going right and going well for Deacon Frost, and is guarding the door to their lair pretty much. But yeah, this was played by one actor. Like the head was one actor. And inside the entire suit there were 5 people operating this entire thing. The one was the actor, one was one arm, another was another arm, one was a leg, and one was another leg. Yeah, and like I think it was the same makeup effects artist on this who did Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula as well. So I think the makeup is really good, and I found out that it's supposed to be a dude. I did not know that it was not a woman because of those tits.
Yeah.
But I did like the kind of just injection of like what the fuck into this movie.
Sure.
I don't know. There's something about it that I'm just like, it's really dark and really just weird and off the wall.
It creates
like that shit.
It creates another layer, I guess, of unknown, of how deep could this really go. But at the same time, the way that it's kind of played up and played out, I guess, is it. I don't know. It is frustrating to me. It's like there was supposed to be a lot more shock value around it.
Yeah, and it didn't
go there, and so then it seems like a wasted thing.
And then it's like, is it supposed to kind of be funny because it's like
the high pitched voice, right? And like, yeah, honestly, that's the part that would make you think, well, this is supposed to be comical to a degree, is the voice, because you would think, oh, it'd have this like deep voice or something like that. And then like eating children, and then it just didn't quite land, I guess. It's some shock value, but it doesn't land, and it just doesn't. It of all the times I have seen this movie, I've forgotten this 9 times out of 10. When I saw it again on rewatch, I forgot it happened. 100%, guys. So there's no way that's I guess what I mean. The shock value clearly didn't land because I was surprised when I saw it.
Yep.
So you're like, Pearl, is that great big fat person?
Oh, wait. There's a great big fat person.
I like
She's a bigger girl, yes.
She's just a bigger girl, sir, yes. Before this Quinn and Frost interaction, where he's like, fuck it, I want Blade alive. Forget the girl, I want Blade alive. And Quinn's like, what?
He is such a stoner. If you think about it from that perspective, he's just totally the stoner friend.
He's like, no, I can kill him. He's like, I want him alive. What? Nuh-uh.
Wait.
Man. Well, then that's when they all show up here, I think, at this point, and then this is where it bursts into the subway scene.
Mm-hmm.
And my note was good and bad all at the same time.
Yes.
Because, with the good outweighing it, especially the second time I watched that, I was like, this is pretty good, dude. I mean, the majority of this is CGI?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, the thing that's bad is the shot of them catching the train and hopping on. I'm just like, oh, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Okay, that's fine.
That's like my reaction.
That was mine, too.
What the fuck?
Man?
Because it is like funny, but it's like, what?
Everything up to that point was doing good. What the fuck?
Maybe you take that out, though. It's really not a bad action scene. It's really it moves us forward. It gets them out of this scenario.
You get the karate girl who's doing too many ayahs in the scroll room before he's captured. You know.
Yeah, that kind of red herring idea of like, oh, it's a kid and must be somebody worth saving, and it's not. It's like, all right, fine, we get it.
And it just goes to show you, like, only in the movie world do this many people know karate and martial arts and stuff. Like, I don't actually know anyone that knows martial arts, but like in all of these movies, they all know it.
Well, I think that's the vampire culture.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, if you go to other places in the world, it's pretty normal. Like you go, yeah.
Do you think they try to find like Foot Clan hideouts to be like, hey, they already know it, so like let's just turn it into vampires, and then we don't have to teach them karate because they kind of already know Foot Clan stuff.
They turn hideouts, which are like cool and hip and like awesome. They turn them into nests.
Gotcha.
You know. So it's more like clinical looking and just like we don't hang out. This is just where we stay for the day.
Yeah.
I do like his apartment.
This is what we do.
The fact that he's got like a giant steel like curtain for his water penthouse apartment is pretty dope.
Oh yeah, and his bed.
That's
hiding his. It's like a coffin.
I don't like that. I
It's
couldn't
like
sleep in that thing.
Like a cool. Funny
Oh, that's what they were doing. I'm gonna be 100.
It's a sex coffin.
I'm gonna be 100% with you. Didn't even put it together. I didn't. I am an idiot.
Are we also supposed to know at this point when his mom does get out of the sex coffin? Like, are we supposed to know immediately that this is his mom?
That's his mom.
Because you're
I
not.
don't think so.
The first time I'm like, oh, here's another seductive little vampire.
Because they toy with like showing her face enough.
Barely. And
Barely
then they
enough.
never do.
And then they don't. Right. So I'm just saying. Like, it's like you're not supposed to.
It's just supposed to be the next time around. You'd be like, oh, look, she has been there for a while.
Yeah,
Right.
that was the only thing for me, especially when I was a kid. I never got. We'll get more into it when we get to that scene, but I never got the mom angle.
I would love to talk about that as we get there.
I'm sorry. I'm still like reeling from the thing that's actually like a coffin, a play on coffin.
Sex coffin.
I'm bamboozled by it. We can move on.
Okay.
Scene 4. Frost kidnaps and kills the chief vampire of the region while Blade is he's running an errand. He encounters Frost. Frost and his crew then manage to invade Blade's lair, kidnap Karen, and mortally wound Whistler. Blade storms Frost's penthouse, but is eventually defeated and taken with Karen to the Temple of Eternal Night for Frost's blood ritual sacrifice.
Also, one negative about this movie, in the subway scene, Whistler just disappears.
How? He's
He's
gone.
just suddenly not in this scene anymore.
Is he like caught by the train kind of a
There's
thing? And then
one tiny shot of like his knee brace going down into like a manhole or something. That's what I noticed.
they're basically like, Chris
But
is
other
gone
than
for
that,
the day. So.
yeah, exactly. It must have been like they just couldn't
Really?
afford him anymore. Like I don't know, but like he's just kind of gone and like literally cuts to them back at their lair on Chris Christopherson. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there you
he
are.
was there, but he made it back.
Hey,
Yeah.
how'd you get here?
He was the one where
He took
he's
the subway.
when Blade said the badass line, "I'm expecting company." He was the company, and now he's just gone. It was weird. It was stark.
Man.
One of my favorite comical moments of this is how you've got Whistler and Blade, two very eligible bachelors, very cool dudes, and you've got Karen. Karen just got out of a relationship. Karen's kind of like, these are my people now. Like maybe I want to get romantic with one of them, and I love it how she has a conversation with Whistler, and Whistler gives his background, and Whistler's like, I lost my entire family. I watched them methodically killed, and I had 2 daughters, and now they're gone, and I watched it, and I had to like help decide who would die first, and it was the worst moment of my life, and I've dedicated my entire life to fighting vampires. She's like, where's Blade? And then she goes into Blade, and she's like, hey, Blade. And Blade's like, and he's coughing in the background. Whistler. She goes, what's wrong with him? He's got cancer. And then she's like, did the blood poke hurt? Like, I really like you. Like basically like Whistler
give
has
a-
cancer and is dying and lost his entire family to family. And she's like, kind of sucks that you got like all these superpowers and like, your mom died before you even knew her.
It's just so
Man,
hard.
you've had a really tough go of it, huh? Meanwhile,
Ooh, does it hurt when you have to do the serum every day?
Well,
I know how needles can hurt
Does
a
it
little
look
bit.
like it hurts?
Meanwhile, like Whistler's just in the background, just having like just more of a worse time. It's like, his coffee's gone cold. It's just like insult to injury constantly.
He's taking
just
a
like
hot pocket out.
yeah.
God damn it, Jesus.
I'm not saying Whistler
He gets-
wanted anything
he
to
get-
care.
he gets. He's like somebody. Oh man, we turn on a light in here. Static shock from the light switch.
Opens up a fortune cookie, no fortune in it.
Looks over Blades, getting some dome.
You're just having the worst day. You're just. he drops the sandwich he made. He just
No, he goes.
peanut butter down.
He left, like they went out to eat to Chili's the night before, and like he brought his leftovers home. But he went to get it, and they're not in there, and he looks over, and she's giving them to Blade.
She's
His triple dipper is gone.
Like feeding each other.
His leftovers. Somebody ate his leftovers after this trial of events.
Yeah.
He just gets home and he says, "Oh, thank God I got something to eat at least."
I just saved their lives.
And by the way, she's already eating it and offers it to Blade. It's like, "No, I don't eat that." She's like, "Okay," throws it away.
Throws it out the window. I'm just saying, we gotta humanize Whistler here just a little bit. man.
He asked Blade and Karen to put his 6-pack that he bought for himself to put it in the fridge. They forgot. So he's just drinking warm beer.
He's been chilling a bottle of Pinot Grigio for like when he gets home from the battle, and she took it to him. And
She took it out of the fridge so he could put his serum in there.
it's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whistler's, and then he starts walking, and his brace starts squeaking.
Oh, poor Whistler, dude. And the
So that's
hits
why
just
they
keep
call
on
him
coming
Whistler.
for him.
They keep on coming. Then look what happens now. Jesus
I
Christ.
call him Whistler because you can hear him coming because of his squeaky brace. Whistler, Whistler.
Before they get
Oh, this is
they
the
make
best.
his day worse. The brutal death of Dragnetti.
Oh,
Dragonetti.
jeez, man. So, by the way, all I could think about was Midnight Mass when I'm watching this.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I saw Midnight Mass prior to this, but Jesus, like, this looks great, man.
Yeah, this effect is really good and really fucking brutal. Like it, more like all the other vampire deaths have just been like the stakes in them, and they just kind of disintegrate. This one, when the sun hits, he's still going. When the sun,
Don't look at
when
us.
the
Sorry,
sun
I'm
hits him, but
lightheaded.
like
I'm
there's like
lightheaded.
red. It's like literally like sun burning, peeling off his skin, and eventually just kind of disintegrates him. It's really fucking good looking.
I'll tell you what, though, if this is what the sun does to you as a vampire, I absolutely laugh out loud at the thought that suntan lotion and bicycle helmets will keep you from dying.
It's great.
It's
great.
It's hilarious.
SPF what? Dude?
SPF vampire.
Jeez,
Raj.
man.
Bring it back again for it's just like what it feels like to chew 5 gum. Shit, dude.
Go back to Whistler for a second. It's really amazing to me because first of all, I constantly through this movie get the notion that Frost is gonna kill Quinn. Do you get that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
It feels like
Yeah.
at any moment Frost will be like, ha ha, grah, but it never happens. But then you get Quinn and Frost in here. The Frost basically just killed Whistler, just beat him to a pulp. And this is so funny to me. He goes, "Do your thing."
Yeah.
And apparently, doing your thing to Quinn is just to put him in a chair and put a bloody blanket over him,
Yeah.
and just like smear blood all over his face. Like, what was his thing that he was supposed to do to Whistler? Because
What Frost was, or
Frost
Quinn?
basically did all the damage to Whistler,
Okay.
and then said, "Quinn, do your thing." And then,
Okay.
and then Blade shows up, and Whistler's not on the ground; he's in a chair with a
Right.
blanket over him.
Yeah. He's like
What was the?
I guess just biting him, maybe.
Did he bite him though?
Yeah, apparently.
he
Because
must have because he was bleeding from the throat pretty heavy,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Could have been from the stomping that got done to him too. Also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like before this too, when they first come in, like like they come in and he's like, "Get out of here!"
Get outta
It's like that's your defense toward vampires is old man energy, dude.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
goddamn vampires, get off my property.
Daytime out there.
He reacts like a bird got into the building. He's like, shoot.
God damn it! Thought I patched that hole.
Well, they're in again. Dang it! I like he's telling Karen to leave, and it's like, how? She doesn't know
Where?
Like, what am I
Where?
supposed to do?
Also, I'm in love with Blade. now.
Yeah, duh. Like
I live here.
I'm just putting up with your old man stories, so I can just like
You're gonna die soon. You have cancer, right?
yeah, I just want to hang out with Blade.
Well, see,
Like-
when Blade does show up and he takes the thing off him, behind the scenes too, it was funny that Wesley Snipes could not keep a straight face in this like very serious scene because he's like, "Why am I lapping up blood with little cotton balls?"
Dude, where do you think they got it from Zoolander? Like, are you kidding? Show me two scenes that have the same energy. There you go, Zoolander and this, man. And I couldn't stop laughing either, to be honest.
He Flisser's like, "Give me that gun, goddammit. You give me that gun and you walk away." And he's like, okay, fine, Whistler. He starts walking away and he hears a shot. He's like, "I'm gonna have to come back for that gun."
I have to go back and get my
It's a
gun.
really good gun.
That's
So what
that's
do you-
my gun.
you
We're
just
building
did-
up to the battle.
You
I'm
just
gonna need
didn't
that.
want to shoot. You didn't want to shoot yourself in front of me for your reasons, because I'm still gonna have to see the mess that you just made when I
Yeah.
come back for my gun.
I have to get so much stuff here.
Yeah.
I have to do
All of
a
this.
lot of packing.
And then I probably got to clean it up too,
Yeah.
because this is actually where I live.
Yeah. I have to clean this mess up. I do.
Can you go outside?
Yeah. Can we? He takes him outside. He's like,
Makes
just do it
him get
here.
up.
Just do it over. Just do it outside.
It's like
Like
a
old
dog.
Yeller.
Take him
Whistler.
down by the creek.
Whistler is old Yeller in this movie. Apparently,
Yes.
he's trying his damnedest, but unfortunately, he's just got to get put down, and
Yep.
that's too
Sorry,
bad.
man. Sad to see him go, man. But
Well.
that leads us to an epic battle at this freaking penthouse, man.
Dude, can we just talk about the penthouse for a second? Like when they're sitting there and at these couches, like Frost and Glenn, like behind them, it looks like this, it's like this ominous backlay kind of industrial looking. It's like, dude, you look like you're in somebody's garage.
It does.
Like it looks
It
like
kind of is.
It looks like he remodeled, like he did the man cave in the garage thing. That's all I can imagine now. It's like, let's hang out in my garage. My mom's home. so.
the best garage parties.
Yeah. Frost is the best garage party. Let's go to Frost. He's
so hot.
He's got the garage going.
He's got a sex coven.
Yeah.
Have you been in there?
Have you been in this?
Don't
sex
lie,
coven?
Tiffany.
I've only heard
yeah.
about it.
Oh my God.
I've only heard stories.
I haven't seen it yet.
The blood clot shots that she makes for him, those are fucking dope.
Yes.
And like before Matrix, we get a lobby shootout.
Dude.
It
About it.
looked just kind of like the Matrix.
Even that moment where Frost has the little girl and they're outside.
Oh, yeah.
That's pre-Matrix, man.
True.
The bullets coming at him like
Yeah, true. I didn't think
Dude.
about that.
pretty fucking badass, man. But that also drives home the point that pretty much everybody's a vampire. That little girl gets thrown in the road and that bus just goes
Yeah.
like for about 7 seconds.
This is
Just bearing down this little girl.
turns out this is the crossover of Blade and Speed.
Ooh.
Turns out couldn't stop.
Can't
stop. Dude, that he chucks that girl
Again, people just throwing people.
into a hot dog stand. and we're just there supposed to be like, oh man, she's just and Blade looks at her like, go home. It's like, oh fuck.
What else was
What
I
have
going
I
through?
been through? What am I here? And by the way, where are the parents?
Exactly.
What
Thank you. I'm thinking now, like maybe they were just off screen. Like, are you done playing with your friend yet? Will you get up? We need to go.
Yeah, the parents just walked out of Target and they're like, she's supposed to be out here. She wanted a quarter for the little horse thing, and she's not there. Well, where'd they go? And then
What's she doing in traffic?
did you break that man's hot dog stand? I'm not paying. Oh my god, get over here. That's what happened.
But the blood clot stuff, like, what's better than walking away from an explosion than walking away from a blood explosion. That's the fucking coolest shit.
He doesn't even
dude.
need to see it happen.
No.
He knows. He's like,
I don't care.
I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they all bubble up, and even like, it looks a little dated, but it somehow still works for me.
It felt very
Total Recall?
A little Total Recall now that you say that, but no, it felt more Big Trouble Little China.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Felt very Big Trouble.
But I didn't care. For some reason, I just didn't care. I can't believe some of the movies we've seen that have come out after this that looked so much worse than any of this.
That's very true.
It's just like, man, I'm in. I don't care. You did it good enough that this nearly, 30-year-old movie?
Yeah.
20. How old are we?
98.
98,
We're in
man. So we're
24.
24
Shit.
years.
Nearly 30-year-old movie.
yeah.
Like, nope, looks great.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then like you get and like any of like the shortcomings of maybe some of the special effects are just outweighed by Wesley Snipes' performance and the fight scenes in this and just the way they're filmed. It just looks so good, and anything could really happen as long as Wesley Snipes is doing it. Like honestly,
It's the only thing I think that's I would call it like showing the seams, if you will. It's some of the lingering shots on some of the martial arts, and it's after like a big sweep. You know, there's like the sweeps him, and then it stays on the shot for like a second, maybe 2 seconds too long, and it's like for that kind of hero posing.
okay.
And that's my only gripe with it, if I had one. That's about it. Otherwise, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't think they quite get to the heights of like Hong Kong cinema, but as close as they get, it does pull it off really well. But I think you're right. It does bear more towards like, oh, cool, like 10-year-old white kid, more stuff that they would
Dude,
like. You know?
It's like every move is a finishing move.
Yeah.
That's the way I would,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would put it.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, final scene, guys. So Frost sacrifices the elder vampires in a mystic ritual and painfully gains the power of La Magra. Blaine gains his strength back after feeding on Karen and then kills his mother. Newly powerful Frost and Blade battle each other in the temple, and Blade defeats him. An epilogue finds Blade observing a vampire attacking his date in Russia, indicating that Blade's new campaign has spread into Europe.
So the mom stuff. Can we talk about the mom
I
stuff?
would love to.
This I never got this as a kid. I always thought these were like maybe even dream sequences.
I thought, or maybe it wasn't actually his mom,
Yeah.
but because he knows everything about him, he says it many times. He knows everything about him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he knows enough to be like, well, if I got a woman and when we eventually get him, we can pretend
Yeah.
like this is mom. Maybe it'll incapacitate
Which
him a little
brought
bit.
up another question for me too, because how does he even know what she looks like? Like maybe her driver's license he's got, but we don't get that indication. I don't think throughout the whole
No.
movie because he was just born
Yeah.
and has never seen her
Never.
No.
ever
And
again.
he's 40 years old. I was 67. 77, 87, 90, he was 30. He's just
31.
31, 32 years old. I just saw a photo of me and my mom when I was a baby, and like I wouldn't have recognized my mom.
Oh, definitely not.
You know, so there's no way.
Yeah.
And like I get that she has stayed pretty much the same age right then and there.
We haven't aged a day,
Oh,
Mom.
That's
yeah,
true.
but still, as a baby, like how in the hell would you know? You know, I don't know.
That's the thing. The recognizing. I think you're right. They made mention of how like he had the driver's license or something.
They did? Okay.
Was supposed to be in the story somehow. Like
Oh,
it was like the memento he had of his mother. But in the end, we never know that.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to know? We're just brought along as the audience to be like, oh, that's his mom.
Oh, wow.
We all know it, so he must know it.
Cool, they want to fuck. Awesome.
It's an easy assumption to have. I bet they want to.
And that's where it's just like it's bad enough that they're bringing her back into this, but then the fact that this is starting to kind of happen, it's like, what?
Because vampires are so sexual.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't even matter if it's your mom.
Nah, it doesn't.
So hot.
Yes, our blood tastes the same, bro.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Blood
I
tastes the
ch-
same, bro.
I choose to
this
just
one's more
not care,
metallic-y.
and she's my second punchable face.
Yeah.
I actually dislike her so much in this movie when she eventually dies. Her screams are terrible. Her performance is terrible. I don't like it. I don't like the character.
And the one thing about the writing of the script for me that kind of lacks is that it's just Stephen Dorff giving kind of the explanation of why she's here and like what happened. He's like, yeah, that's right, Blade. I was the one at the hospital that bit your mom right then and there as soon as you came out. And that's why I know everything about you. And it's like...
That doesn't mean you would know
Okay.
about my sword,
yeah.
dick.
Well, did you hear the theory that so Blade's revealed to be the key to resurrecting La Magra because his blood as a Daywalker is necessary to transforming Frost into the Blood God? Since Frost is revealed to be the vampire who essentially created Blade because he bit Vanessa when she was pregnant with him, it could mean that Frost created Blade on purpose because he'd been planning to resurrect La Magra for years before the events of the film. Seems more plausible, though, that Blade was an accident, with Frost having no reasonable way to know how to do this, that he just inadvertently created this mythic creature mentioned in the vampire prophecy. But, I mean, Frost has been saying that he's been watching him forever. He knows everything about him, that clearly he's been, like, paying attention to this kid all along. Who knows? It's a fun way to think that he maybe did that on purpose. He's a smart guy.
Cool.
Frost basically made the Truman Show out of Blade. Got it. Like that. It's like that's the one thing, but at the same time, we now have the classic thing of banged your mom. It's like you're just gonna if the fact that Blade didn't call him a motherfucker is a real missed opportunity, guys.
It really is.
Let's be
man.
real, okay?
It was gonna be too real for him.
It was
That's why
gonna be
he
too
didn't.
real.
It's going to be too real.
Hey, fuck you, mother.
Oh, now I can't call you that.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
Oh man.
Mother. But I do like that they're parallels as Blade and Frost.
Yeah.
I do like they do coincide here and there because Blade is not full blood vampire and neither is Frost.
Yep.
There's that aspect for it. And them as adversaries works really well. It's very classical
great.
kind of storytelling of like the two have the same thing in mind, pretty much want almost kind of the same thing, but opposites. Like he wants to make everyone a vampire and Blade wants to have no more vampires.
Yes.
And so, but then having things relate that were their half-bloods and everything. Very classic kind of storytelling elements, but I do like that it is Wesley Snipes and Stephen Dorff doing that with each other. It works well for me.
And now all I can think of is that Blade is just essentially Harry Potter. Harry Potter is Blade. Blade is Harry Potter. Guys, this is upsetting at this point.
All right. Well, let me make something more upsetting to you.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a mashup for you.
Great.
Of Stephen Dilf, as I like to call him.
Dilf, yeah.
Of him deciding that in order to become the blood god, of course, the ancient scriptures said, I need to unbutton my shirt
Of
before
course.
this blood falls down. And I want With Arms Wide Open playing.
Yeah.
While he's going like that shot with his hair blowing. Because why? Of course, the ancient ritual said you got to undo your shirt if you're going to be the blood
It's got to
god.
be a silk shirt.
It has to be,
Yeah.
It
dude.
needs to be a silk shirt. Can I make one argument here about this whole ritual thing?
Yeah.
The fact that one of them gets killed, one of the 12 gets killed, don't they?
Yeah, the girl kills him.
Yeah.
Mercury
kills one of the 12, so there's not one standing in place. So how is the ritual confirmed?
Supposedly I had the same thought because this is the dumbest scene in the whole movie. The fact that Mercury has to kill one of them. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I believe someone pointed out online that there were more than 12 of the elders that came. Because at one point there are 12 people in the position.
Okay.
Which could be continuity problem. But also that maybe they brought more than 12 because they knew that Mercury was going to get unhinged.
Well, we got to bring one
She
along
fucking
in case
does.
somebody gets hungry.
You never know.
He's going to get sick of you. He's like, shut up, fucker.
Yeah.
You suck. You're old.
Yeah.
I'm hot. You're not.
I'm hot. You're not. I'm the young one. You're the old one. We're next, and you're not.
But a little bit more of the sexuality of Blade and his mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to. He gets out of the Blood
Yep.
Maiden, the Iron Maiden for blood.
Which, by the way, is perfectly sized for him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no.
So they knew
makes
all
sense.
along. From
He knew everything.
10 million years ago, they knew exactly what
He
size.
knew his size.
Yep.
He knew his inseam. You know, gotta know all that.
He knew that he dresses to the left.
Yep.
Everything.
bit,
There is.
little bit.
It's like on the legs.
It's like instead of everything, it's like this.
It's like this, and then goes down.
Yep.
And they have
Cupping.
blockers because his dick also opens up into a
Yep.
hand exploder.
Cool,
cool.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, fun.
A little fun thing to think about. But he's got to rejuvenate, so he's sucking on Karen's neck, and he's like,
nice.
he's really getting in there. Man.
That's sexual, right? Like
He
they're
is-
implying that.
Stephen Norrington is shooting this like a sex scene.
It's a sex scene.
problematic one because she's like, no, too much.
Yeah.
Get off. You know, she's saying no.
Well, the subtitles have her saying "Don't stop."
Oh, really?
Have her saying "Don't stop."
I heard her say, "Stop! It's too," or "Stop! It's too," something like that.
so,
Something implied.
so it's a confusing situation.
Yes,
huh?
it
They,
is.
they
Yes, it is
didn't
very
work.
much.
They didn't work out their safe word ahead of time.
They did not. They did not work this
It's
out.
very important to work out your sales.
It's very
guys, we
important to
need
make
this.
sure to talk about these things
And
ahead of time.
What is ours? Tacos.
Tacos, yeah.
You guys knew it.
Consent is important.
Yes.
And consent can change at any time. All right. Punctuation is important.
Yes.
Don't stop and don't stop. Two different things.
Yeah.
All right.
This is so fucking sick though when he like actually comes back to life and
Dude, when
he
he
takes off.
kills Quinn, right?
Yeah.
Right here. And
Oh, it's so good.
Superhero landing.
He grabs his sunglasses, dude. He's like, bam, boom, again. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Play, dude.
Sean, upon my first watch, my score for this movie was going to be fairly low until we got to this scene. And then I was, oh my God, I'm fully into this movie for this final everything. When
Bat
he-
skeletons and everything.
I'm all in.
Then
I'm all
Sevenfold's
in.
like, hell yeah.
They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I have changed my thought because I've rewatched it, but it's interesting. I didn't necessarily like this movie until now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Which is usually the opposite of how these movies goes. Usually, by the time you get to the end, you're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
okay,
Okay,
guess we got to
seen
wrap
this.
up in the bow. But when he became like, because he's like now a full-blooded vampire, or now he just has
He's like blood god.
he has well, no, Blade.
Oh, sorry,
Blade
okay.
now just has more increased powers because he fed. Is that what happened here?
Yeah, I think so.
It's so great because this fight scene, him with the sword just killing everybody. It's so good.
yeah.
It's so
It
good.
all works really good and it looks really good. Even like the shots of Frost with his like blood red eyes and shit are super fucking cool. And I don't know why, but the line where she comes out to him and is like, Frost? Or like Deacon? He's like, not anymore. I don't know why that line
He's in the
always stuck with
shadows
me.
and
Yeah.
you can't see him. Well, dude, you probably know more about this than I do. I'm sure you've seen it, but the ending was not this.
Correct.
Thank God. Apparently it tested so bad. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's really bad. I mean, like, I think it's very raw footage.
Okay.
And so
maybe it could have been better.
They might have been able to patch it up a little bit with like the other special effects, but like they had written in the script that, and they actually shot it, that it was going to be a huge literal blood god, like monster, blood monster that was like that Blade had to fight. And within the blood monster was just like a very half-assed like Photoshop of like a still taken out of Steven Dorff being like, yeah, Blade, I'm a monster now. Yeah, Blade, I'm a big monster now. Look at me, I'm gonna get you and stuff. It looks real. You can see it on YouTube or like the special features of Blade Blu-ray or whatever. It looks fucking awful and really doesn't work. Like, because you can tell like Steven Dorff's performance in that aspect. He's just like in a studio.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, I had to come back and do this.
Nope.
Okay, fuck. Whatever. And so he's like, yeah, Blade, I'm explaining to you what the hell's going on because I have no idea what's going on.
None of us know
Because
it.
nobody actually understands.
Yeah.
Thank God for this because this is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's still Steven Dorff. And is there a thought that maybe he's not actually fully the blood god, or is he the blood god?
I'd have to assume, right? I don't think, was there any indication that he's not full?
There's some thoughts that like that since Blade didn't stay in that container, that maybe something changed, or the fact that that some people even said that Blade actually became the blood god because Blade like killed his mom, like sacrificed her, and that he's sort of the hurricane of,
Yeah.
you know, instead of him. I don't know. I don't even care. I don't. It's such a great fight scene between them.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
cool.
it, dude.
And the reason for it is that they just wanted to see Steven Dorff. They didn't want to see
Yeah.
like a whole CGI thing. And I saw an interview with the guy who actually created most of the special effects for it, the CGI effects. And he looked bitter as fuck because he's like, I had 2 weeks to do this thing and I didn't even fucking make it in the movie. Like you can just
Man.
tell his look on his face is just like motherfucker.
No, it's okay. Live to fight another day, dude. You would have never worked again.
Exactly.
If this would have made it in the movie.
You would have basically turned this into like the ending of Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
I mean, like just this haphazard idea. I don't know what could have salvaged something like that, especially in the idea of a story. They make mention of it. Like Steven Dorff talks about it like it's literally like a blood storm that everyone it touches, it will turn into a vampire and blah, blah, blah. And he talks about it like that, but they never really like bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
And
you can like maybe dissect that into like it's going to be so many vampires
Right.
that
Yes.
it's going to seem like, and so it kind of works still.
as a metaphor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but to have it literally be is just an abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that they went with this route, and then you get some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. I'm like,
Skate uphill.
They are. Some people are trying
so
to do
they're
that.
trying. They're out there.
Even when he mouths, what
Yes.
the fuck? Like, that's such a great stylistic choice, the fact that he didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like you're trying to save an R rating by not saying it. They just decided. So every once in a while, we've been there where we're like,
What the fuck?
like, you don't actually say it, you just mouth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good, man. So good. I loved it. I didn't even really care about the weird blob ending explosion. I love that no blood got on him.
I know, right?
That whole thing exploded, and he was just like,
The whole
we're good.
out of the whole thing, it's like the massive blood geyser explosion, and he just goes,
And then it's
Nothing.
And then it's just quiet.
Just
and she
turns-
goes, Yo, Blade, let's get out of here.
"All right,
It was divine intervention. That's what it was.
Yes, it
an
was.
intervention."
Also, at the end, when they come out of the lair, there was supposed to be an appearance of Morbius, who was the one who
Okay.
actually turned Blade into like the half vampire, whatever, daywalker kind of thing, or his mom or something like that. But they took that out too. He was just like on a building, just like standing there, like, and I think it was just gonna kind of end.
Okay.
But then we didn't get Morbius until years later, which
Yeah.
everyone hates.
Yeah, apparently that did not go over well.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like finicky endings to this. Morbius was going to be there. Whistler was going to be in Moscow.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. It just it seemed very all over the place of how they wanted this to go. Probably because they didn't know if there would be like sequels. Maybe would this be worth doing a
Never know.
franchise of an idea? You know what I mean? But I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you guys want to say about this?
We do a prop.
You want to do a prop?
Let's do a prop.
Let's do a prop. Ooh, here's a prop.
I'm gonna let you go first.
I want his pack of silver stakes.
Oh.
Yeah, like his one
That's
that
a pretty
goes on
good
his
one,
arm
dude.
or his leg. I like those a lot. Those are cool.
Question of that: why would he just like take one and then like stake it into somebody? Why not just like stake it into somebody and then take it again? Are they like a one-use thing?
Yeah.
How is that? Why?
They get kind of dull.
You can't just stake it into another vampire
No.
and kill that. Okay.
Nope.
I want the curved knife.
Damn it. Okay. I want the serum pack, like the arm pack.
Okay.
That's
serum.
That's what Jarrett Layoff wanted as well. The serum
Okay.
holder, and Nick Mad wanted the Whistler's Zippo lighter. That's a good.
Oh,
one.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Yep,
call.
good call.
Job.
Heck yeah.
Well, friends, we have dissected Blade with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. Sean, we're going to let you go, man. What do you think about this thing? Putting it through the confused breakfast thing.
Sell it.
Trenchcoat Trinity, my man. Here we go. This is just such a goddamn good time. I think it still works and holds up for me so much so. I love Wesley Snipes as his character. I love revisiting this and finding new love about it, being that the cinematography just looks so cool. I love the music a lot. A lot of it just works for me. Like a lot of the especially when Blade and Karen are driving around, the weird cuts to like a weird, just like a innocuous vampire drinking out of something, which is apparently Stephen Norrington. Just like on the streets,
Yeah.
like the jittery kind of speed ramp kind of stuff. It's still like I usually would hate that in movies, but it works for me here. And I love Steven Dorff as a bad guy. I just this movie is kind of more of a vibe for me. There are aspects that just don't work, like Whistler disappearing during a scene just is like, what the fuck? Obviously, some of the effects just don't work or hold up for me. But ultimately, I don't really care. This movie I could watch any day. I think it's just super fun. And we have to give it up for Blade because it pretty much put Marvel on the map. And look where it is now. So yeah, I'm going to give this an 8. I fucking think this is a great time. And I even love Blade 2 even more. So
8 from Sean. AJ, what about you, man?
Man, it's the movie. The movie's hard for me just because I think I actually went into this wanting to enjoy it, and I had some pretty high hopes actually because, like, on paper this is not my type of movie, right? But I'm an action movie person like through and through. I love a good action movie. And if you can have that at the forefront, then I'm all about it. But you've got to, if you're going to have a good action movie, a good action movie has to be cohesive, and the continuity of story has to be there. There are just some parts of this that just they seem so disjunct. My biggest excuse me. My biggest like issue with this movie honestly has to do with like the prophecy and like the digitization of like this prophecy and how it's showing. They show this this layer, like this house of the gods, whatever it is for the end scene. They show it in like this digital rendition, and it's like, how do you guys have this? Like, what are you talking about? They show it so many times. They are so proud of this like visual of like how this place looks and what it is and how it works. They show it like 7 times in 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, it's like, how did you get that from like parchment, prophesize, whatever? It makes me, it's like, so it's kind of frustrating that that this place just happens to be in like, I don't know, somewhere north of New Orleans. You know what I mean? Not in Transylvania. I don't know. It's a weird thing to me. And then you're right. There are just some parts of it that just feel a little bit odd. Whistler disappearing, some of the story, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's a fun time. It launched Marvel, like it gave them legs again, to be honest. And I think it's a lot of fun, and it screams late 90s. So for that, I mean, I guess I'll give it. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna shoehorn this in at a 5.65.
5.65 for age. I traditionally hate vampire movies. I think it's dumb. I think vampire culture's stupid, and I just don't care. This movie completely changed my mind. It's got to be the best one out there or the best version of this that I've ever seen. It was believable. Wesley Snipes is Blade. Nobody else could have played that. I very much enjoyed it, and I'm excited it got better the second time I watched it. So I'm assuming it's probably going to get better the third time I watch it. But at this point right now, I'm going a 7.4 on this one. I felt pretty good about it. We got to see what Josh Miller says. He says, how is this not on any streaming service that I use? I paid the $3.99 to rent on Amazon because I was way too lazy to go find the DVD. So let's start off hollering at Netflix for this and shitting the bed with Tyson and Paul fight. Their buffering issues, the terrible commentary, and the snooze fest main event. The ladies put on a show, though. Oh, yeah, Blade. When watching with a critical eye, this movie still needs to be taken with a grain of salt for what it is. 15 minutes into it, and there are so many details that you can absolutely shred for many reasons. Go ahead and pick 2 or 15. The dialogue is okay at best, but a lot of the acting is pretty atrocious. For most of the movie with special effects, both practical and CGI, were decent for the time and the budget, right up to the very end. The part where Blade cuts off Deacon Frost's arm and then cuts him in half, there's no way I thought this looked good even 26 years ago. I could literally hear Sean groan in agony over this from Texas. I immediately thought, oh no, he's definitely yelling at the TV. I like the way the movie was shot and filmed, though. I like the tone, color, sets, It had comic book panel feel in a lot of places. Next, let's talk about the main character. Looking back, I can't see anyone but Snipes playing this, but it's wild to think the studio wanted Denzel or Lawrence Fishburne. Neither of them at this point have done anything big in action movies that I can think of, and I think they would have been awful as Blade. It's like they're both too good of actors to do this role its justice. Snipes was as popular as he ever was in this era. This was the logical choice. He's great at action, great at giving you one-liners, but not great at acting. I think I mentioned in previous review that this movie and Spawn really is what opened the doors to the modern comic book movies, which is kind of bizarre, but from the IP licensing rights, it makes sense. They cost way less money to license, they are lesser known, and only a few people could complain on how the source material is better. I knew much more about Spawn than the Blade comics. Watching with a critical eye, it's not a great movie, lots to pick apart, but also it's a good time, which doubles down on how hard it is to score and what I want to give it. It definitely dips, but not by much. I'll lend it a 6.4. So we're going to be a 6.86 for a modern day rating as a group. That's going to take us to a tie in 123rd spot with Cool Runnings.
Of course.
Did we have to put it with Cool Runnings?
Oh, let me just real quick. What did I say? 6.86. I just want to verify that. 6.86. It is, yes, it is tied with Cool Runnings.
Oh boy.
Disney, Marvel,
Sounds great.
They try and ice skate uphill.
Yeah,
There it is.
No.
There it is.
Oh no.
Well,
That's a connection right there.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here, everybody. Tune in next week. We're diving into Black Hawk Down, and we're following that up with Gremlins, because it is Christmas time.
Yay!
And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Scrooged. We had a good time with that one. That was fun talking about that movie, Christmas time, getting into the spirit, little Bill Murray action.
Oh.
Good episode to listen to.
That's a good episode to listen to, guys. Christmas, the holiday season is here. We're in it. The veil is thicker than thick, and we don't have to deal with it anymore. So go check us out on YouTube and hang out with us here in the studio. We got lots of fun visual gags and lots of cool knickknacks and paddywhacks, and we're giving dogs bones over here. So do that thing on YouTube. Find us on social media, Confused Breakfast, at Confused Breakfast, just wherever you consume that social media. And then, of course, leave us a review. We always appreciate it. Leave us 5 stars on Apple or Spotify, and write us a review or drop us a comment on Spotify.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com to see the merch that we have. You can see that we have shirts there. You can see we have stickers, buttons, hats, sweatshirts, whatever. Stay tuned for some new merch coming. Let us know if you want a Trenchcoat Trinity shirt. That is the Crow, Matrix, and Blade Trenchcoat Trinity. Go to the same damn website of confusedbreakfast.com to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered on this show. You can see my ratings, you can see Mike's ratings, you can see AJ ratings, and the show's ratings overall. Goodbye, I love you. Long live Blade.
Yep. We got Brian on the controls from Upload Media Group. That is who's producing this show. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and learn more about our network, cloud10.fm. Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.